If you just want to know how to rip CDs and put them on your iPod, go to this timestamp. This is your only warning. Okay, I'm starting the video now. This video is brought to you by the Patreon executive producers you see on screen now. And just as importantly, by viewers like you. Thank you. So if you keep up with my website, you'll know that pretty recently I've bought an iPod, and I could not emphasize enough how much I fell in love with it. Now, this is coming from the perspective of someone who's never owned an iPod before. My first Apple product was an iPhone 6 back in high school, so that was the closest thing. I do remember my father had an iPhone 3 that I recorded videos on. They're not that good. But yeah, I've been taking my iPod pretty much everywhere, especially driving. It's very fun to take it driving. My car has a built-in iPod managing whatever. Like, you can plug the iPod in and it'll work as if you plugged in an SD card. Like, it'll show the metadata, it'll show the song title and everything. It's amazing. I didn't even know that until after I got my iPod, which is like, I've had this car for a few years. How did I not know that? Anyway, getting off topic. I've had this iPod for a few months now, and while it served me well, 30 gigabytes is not a lot of space to work with, at least with my music. My music is all 320 MP3s, so they can get pretty chonky despite being an MP3. I also somehow forgot to mention that I'll be using the iFlash adapter with a micro SD card to expand my storage. I don't know how I failed to mention that. Anyway, and I'll be showing you how to rip CDs and put them on your iPod as well. Look at that, we have a whole shebang. But before we get into any of that, some backstory. This upcoming section is an abridged video version of the iPod blog I wrote on my website. If you want to read it, I'll be linking it in the description. Forgive me if the audio sounds bad for this section. I am recording it on my phone. So, for a long time, I was an avid Spotify user day in and day out, and I really enjoyed the fact that you could listen to any song just at your fingertips. I found it really convenient, and it was just really nice to have. Besides the fact that when I first found out about Spotify, it was whenever Gorillaz were releasing Humans, and I found out you couldn't even choose which song to play without paying, which I thought was very stupid. They still do that. But yeah, it was very novel at the time, considering that my only experience was listening to pirated SoundCloud uploads that are very low quality. However, all of that changed for me in 2024 when I lost access to a steady income. And it made me came to a sobering realization that any of the songs I added to my Spotify likes or playlist or whatever, I didn't own it, and I couldn't listen to it anymore, which was really, it stung. It stung a lot. At this point, I had already been collecting CDs though, so it was at this point that I decided to make the jump to having a digital library of MP3s that I just have all the CDs for, and it feels nice knowing that it's not going anywhere no matter what. I feel like a lot of the things like this where someone changes drastically how they do something as a result of something being violated. In my case, my access to all the music I loved. And that's not even to mention that I was spending $430 over the lifetime that I've used Spotify, and I don't own anything. I was just renting the music. Now, in the beginning, I would mainly use my iPhone to listen to music. I just sync all the songs to my computer, and that worked for a while, but as many of you know, I've switched to a dumb phone this year, and I decided to decentralize how I use my phone, so instead of having everything on one device, I'd rather have it all separate devices and do that one task very well, so that led me to getting this iPod. Now, without further ado, I will get to the modding. Again, this is a very abridged version of the blog that's on my website. If you're interested in anything I had to say here, I would very recommend to go read that because it's a lot more in-depth and it's just a lot more cohesive than what I had to say here. Anyway, on to the modding. Alright, so this is the best setup I can do, so just bear with me. As you can see, the package just arrived, and Came with a spudger, so that's nice. So I also got some tape, but battery didn't arrive yet, so that'll have to wait till later. So I got a I Love My iPod sticker, but I think I got an extra one for free, which is pretty cool. I love my iPod! But the main thing I got was this iFlash board, which will allow me to put a micro SD card inside my iPod, because this was a 30 gigabyte iPod when I bought it, but I want to put more on here than just 30 gigabytes. I like that they include the foam. That's very nice. Alright, so this wouldn't be my first time opening an iPod. I should probably put the hold switch on. There we go. Oh, almost. There we go. Now the battery connector should still be on there, so I'm gonna be careful taking this off. Alright, so this is the hard drive. It's kind of adorable how tiny it is. There we go. So yeah, that's the hard drive. Wow, it is so small. Now here's the iFlash hard drive. They're pretty much the same size, but this one, if I'm not mistaken, should allow you to break it, but I'm a little hesitant to do that. Oh god, I'm gonna just leave it as is. How about that? Oh, okay, we got one side in. I really want to break away the part that's not supposed to be there, though. But I'm too scared I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna just leave it there. Alright, so I've already got my 200 gigabyte micro SD formatted right here. I believe this locking mechanism, or you just slide it in? Yeah, that's in there. So now we just take one piece of foam. Oh wait, I should probably use my tape. This is so fucking ghetto, but it'll be worth it. Those 200 gigs, man, it'll be worth it. Okay, that should be everything. Now we can just go back and close up the iPod. Well, let me make sure it works before I fully close it up. So it should say, yes! Restore to iTunes, so that means it worked. Alright, well I guess we can go on to iTunes now. Oh damn, I'm noticing a piece of dust. Do I want to go get that? Yeah, I do. Oh man. So at this point I had stopped recording on my camera, but I basically just snapped it all together, and yeah, I did not go back to get that piece of dust. At least not then. I mean, I've got it now, but yeah. Anyway, now we're gonna get into the CD ripping portion and putting that music on your iPod. I guess I'll just go into the things you'll need first. Specifically, a disk drive, either plug in or, you know, USB. You'll need your CD of choice. For this, I'm using... And last, of course, you'll need iTunes. Windows or Mac, it doesn't really matter. So, of course, you start by putting your CD in the CD drive. Then you open up iTunes. It should detect the CD. It should have the album name, the album artist, and the year it came out, like all that metadata except for the album art, which I'll get to in a minute. Now once you're on this screen, you should see a button on the right that says import CD. That's basically the rip button, so go ahead, click that, and you should get a dialog box asking you how you want to format your audio. This is up to you, but I just do 320 MP3s because that's the most convenient for me. Okay, while it's ripping, let me go ahead and show you where I get the album art. So I'm gonna have this website linked down in the description. But basically, it's this website by this guy named Ben, and yeah, you could search any album, and if it's on Apple Music, then you'll find the album art for it, and I'll have it in the highest resolution too, like 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels or whatever. But I just downloaded in standard resolution so that it's not bloating up my MP3 file sizes. So yeah, go ahead, search your album that you're ripping, and then download the album art. Okay, so now that it's done ripping, you'll go to your iTunes library, you'll right-click the album, and you'll hit Get Album Info. Once you're on that window, click Artwork, and then click Add Artwork, and then go and find the PNG or JPEG you just downloaded. If you're on Windows, it might automatically search for JPEG files only, so if it's not showing up, check the little dialog box. But yeah, just go ahead, set your album art, and then it should update. On mine it didn't update like all the way, but you know, it should update. It should update. And for those that want to change the location of where your music is stored, because I know everyone doesn't want their music library stored on their C drive, I'm gonna have the location of where it should be right here, somewhere right here. I don't know, I'll figure it out in editing. But you'll go to that location, at least on Windows. If it's on Mac, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But yeah, if it's on Windows, go to that location, and you should find a folder with the album. Should have all the MP3s inside that folder, and then you can just cut it from there and put it in a different music folder where you have all your other albums and artists and whatever. So, now it's just a matter of getting the music on the iPod. So go ahead and plug in your iPod to your computer, and then iTunes should automatically detect it within like 5 seconds or so. It should be like almost instant. Sometimes it might take a minute, but iTunes should detect your iPod. On Mac, I know iTunes doesn't really exist anymore, but if you go to the Finder app, it should be there. I think that's where the iPod settings are on the Mac nowadays. Basically what we're going to do here, at least what I'm going to do because I have the space for it, we're going to go down each menu and check off everything for the whole library. I just want everything that's in my iTunes library on my iPod. So I'm just going to check it all off. Then, in the bottom right corner, hit sync, and it should start. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you gotta wait for it to actually get on the iPod, and if you're doing your whole library for the first time, it's going to take quite some time, because it's USB 2.0. So yeah, once it's done syncing, you should have your entire music library on your iPod, which, I mean, I don't know if everyone else is following along, but at least me, I have my entire music library on my iPod, which I couldn't fit it on this tiny 30 gigabyte hard drive. Here, look, just to show you again how small it is. That's the palm of my hand. Look at how tiny it is. Anyway, I'm gonna hand it over back to the outro, Andrew. And with that, I am going to close this video. I'm very happy with the modding I've done to my iPod, having extended capacity up to 200 gigabytes. You know, I'm gonna have all the music and videos I'll ever need on this thing. I'll never have to worry about storage again. And having that extended battery, which I wasn't able to show in the teardown, but extended battery arrived a few days later. I put that in. This thing is gonna last forever. So, it feels pretty good, especially since I have a dumb phone now. It's made this thing a hell of a lot more practical when I go outside. So yeah, with that being said, I love my iPod.